Let's talk about something no one dares to admit out loud. You've already used manipulation techniques today without even realizing it. That strategic pause before replying to a message? Manipulation. That tone of voice you adjusted to get what you wanted? Manipulation. The difference between you and that corporate psychopath everyone hates isn't that you don't manipulate, it's that you, hopefully, manipulate with ethical awareness. And here's the uncomfortable truth that will blow your mind. Emotional intelligence and manipulation use the exact same tools. The difference isn't in the techniques, but in the intention behind them. It's like a kitchen knife. You can use it to prepare an amazing dinner for someone you love, or you can use it to hurt someone. The tool is neutral. Ethics come from the person wielding it. Machiavelli understood this 500 years ago when he wrote about politics guided by reality, not ideals. He wasn't teaching evil. He was exposing the real mechanisms of power that people use, but that society prefers to pretend don't exist. And you need to make a decision now. Are you going to continue pretending you live in a fairy tale where good always triumphs and truth always prevails? Or are you going to wake up to the reality that those who understand the mechanisms of influence have a brutal advantage over those who pretend they don't exist? Because here's what's going to happen in the next few minutes. I'm going to show you 7 secrets that separate those who use emotional intelligence to build from those who use manipulation to destroy. And listen, you'll recognize yourself on both sides at some point, and that's a good thing. It means you're human, not a saint made of plaster. The question isn't whether you have these tools in your arsenal, but what you do with them. Do you use them to create genuine relationships based on mutual benefit? Or do you use them to drain value from people and leave a trail of devastation in your wake? Decisions based on real human nature require you to admit, yes, you want to influence people. Yes, you want them to do what you need sometimes. Yes, you use techniques for that. The difference between you and the toxic manipulator is that you, ideally, care about the other person's well-being in the process. You want to influence within a win-win relationship, not one where you win and the other loses. And if you're thinking, but I would never manipulate anyone, take a deep breath, because you're lying to yourself. Every time you carefully choose your words so as not to hurt someone, that's positive manipulation of communication. Every time you help someone hoping it will generate reciprocity in the future, that's strategic manipulation of relationships. The difference is that you do it consciously, with relative transparency and genuine concern for the outcome for both of you. So here's the challenge. You'll discover in these 7 secrets that some you already use to build, others you've seen used against you to destroy you. And in the end, you need to answer honestly, which side are you really on? Because the end justifies the means, but you need to be comfortable with the end you're pursuing. If your answer is, I want to use these tools to build genuine relationships, grow professionally without stepping on anyone, protect my energy from toxic people, and create a life where I have real agency over my destiny. Perfect. You're exactly where you need to be. But if your answer is, I want to use this to screw over my enemies, manipulate people to get what I want without caring about them, and basically become an efficient sociopath, well, maybe you need professional help, not a YouTube video. The virtue that Machiavelli spoke of wasn't about being evil. It was about having the ability to do what is necessary when fortune demands it, while keeping your character intact. And these 7 secrets will show you exactly how to do that. Let's start with the most controversial point. Your emotions are not your friends. They are tools that you need to master before they master you. Ready? Then come with me, because this knowledge will completely change how you see every human interaction from now on. If something inside you awakened while listening, don't ignore that feeling. This channel isn't about videos, it's about memories. Remember who you were before the fear, before the exhaustion, before the silence. Each new video here is a different reflection of your own soul, an invitation to understand what the world never taught you. The power you seek outside has always been within you. If you feel that this journey speaks to what lives silently within you, sign up now, not to follow yet another creator, but to reconnect with something the world tried to make you forget. Because here, every word was made to heal, each reflection to awaken, and each video serves as a reminder. You are not alone on the path back to yourself. Click on subscribe and turn the algorithm into a daily reminder of who you really are. Do you know what separates those who control their own lives from those who are controlled by them? The ability to see emotions for what they truly are, not villains, but dangerous tools when misused. Machiavelli understood this deeply when he observed that politics guided by reality, not by ideals, demanded self-control above all else. Uncontrolled emotions are like giving your car keys to a drunk driver. You might get somewhere, but it probably won't be where you wanted to go. And here's the secret that few realize: those who care less have more power. Not because they are cold or insensitive, but because they have developed the rare skill of not letting each situation hijack their emotional state. It's like playing poker. The player who maintains a neutral expression, regardless of the cards they receive, has a brutal advantage over the one who lets each hand dictate their reactions. Calculated detachment generates control over situations because it transforms you from a hostage into a strategic observer. You can see the entire board while others are trapped in the emotions of a single play. And make no mistake, this doesn't happen overnight. It's a skill that is built with conscious practice and decisions based on real human nature, not the romanticized version we wish existed. Think about it. How many times have you made a decision driven by anger and then thought, damn, what a stupid thing to do? Or how many opportunities have you missed because the fear of rejection outweighed logic? These situations happen because our emotions evolved to protect us from immediate threats. A lion in the savannah, for example, but not to navigate the social complexities of the modern world. Emotional detachment doesn't mean coldness, but protection. It's like wearing a helmet when riding a motorcycle. You're not denying the possibility of falling, you're just preparing to minimize the damage. When someone tries to manipulate you using guilt, anger, or fear, those with emotional control recognize the tactic immediately. It's like when a salesperson creates artificial urgency by saying, "Last unit." If you know the game, you won't fall for it. Constant adaptability is only possible when you're not stuck in a fixed emotional state. Imagine a ship's captain who panics with every big wave. He would never weather a storm. Now imagine someone who observes the waves, feels the fear, but keeps their hands firmly on the helm. That's the difference we're talking about. Here's an uncomfortable truth that goes against everything you've been taught. Pure virtue doesn't win complex games. Machiavelli knew that it's better to be feared than loved, as long as you avoid being hated. But what does this have to do with your emotions? Everything. When you allow the need to be loved or validated to drive your decisions, you hand over control of your life to others. It's like giving your TV remote to every person who passes by on the street. You'll never watch what you really want. The calculated use of emotional force, knowing when to show vulnerability and when to show firmness, is an art that first requires inner mastery. Think of great leaders. Martin Luther King Jr. had a cause worth fighting for, but he didn't make strategic decisions driven solely by the emotion of the moment. Every speech, every protest, every movement was calculated based on political and social reality, not just what he felt. The appearance of virtue matters as much as virtue itself, because we live in a world of perceptions. And you can only project what you want when you're not being dragged along by your own emotions. Virtue, That combination of skill, strength, and cunning only fully manifests itself when fortune finds you prepared, not in tears or paralyzed by despair. And then comes the question few ask. If your emotions are in control, who is really living your life? There is an invisible pattern that governs virtually all human behavior, and those who learn to see it gain an almost unfair advantage in life. Machiavelli dedicated years to observing how predictable humans are through behavioral patterns, not because we are simple, but because we share the same fundamental needs disguised as complexity. It's like watching the same movie with different actors. The script changes little, only the costumes and sets. When you begin to study people with the curiosity of a scientist observing an experiment, something magical happens. You stop being surprised and become strategic. It's not about being manipulative or malicious. It's about understanding real human nature and working with it, not against it. Think of a salary negotiation. The boss who knows your pattern of avoiding conflict will use that against you, while you, who know their pattern of valuing loyalty, can use that to your advantage. Politics guided by reality, not ideals, works exactly like that. You work with what people really are, not what you would like them to be. And here's the trick. Most people operate on autopilot, repeating the same patterns without even realizing it. Whoever recognizes patterns first controls the interaction, just as an experienced chess player already knows their next 5 moves, while the beginner is still thinking about the next one. Now let's unpack this knowledge that can completely change how you navigate relationships, business, and even conflicts. Every human being operates based on identifying basic needs that repeat themselves like an invisible mantra: validation, control, security, and meaning. Take any conversation, any discussion, any conflict. Somewhere there is one of these 4 needs being threatened or sought. That colleague who always interrupts meetings, need for validation and meaning. The boss who micromanages everything, need for control and security. The person who never admits to being wrong, validation again. It's like having a treasure map where X marks the point. Once you know what to look for, it's easy to find. The calculated use of force in this context is not physical, it's psychological and emotional. You learn to offer strategic validation when you need to win someone over, or to subtly threaten security when you need someone to back down. It's not malice. It's understanding that decisions based on real human nature work better than pretty speeches about how things should be. Want a practical example? The next time you need to convince someone of something, identify which of these 4 needs is dominant in that person and frame your argument around it. If the person values security, show how your idea minimizes risks. If they value meaning, show how they will be recognized. Simple, but brutally effective. And there's more. When you understand these patterns, you can predict reactions and prepare for them with constant adaptability. It's the difference between a boxer who gets hit because he didn't see the punch coming and one who is already moving before his opponent completes the movement. Machiavelli saw this as the perfect combination of virtù and fortuna. You can't control all the variables, but you can prepare so well that when luck appears, you're already positioned to take advantage. Think about romantic relationships. How many end because one side expected the other to guess their needs? If you study your partner's behavioral patterns, you'll know that when they're too quiet, it's not indifference, it's overload. When they ask too many questions, it's not distrust, it's a need for security. It's like learning someone's native language instead of shouting louder in your own, hoping to be understood. And here's what separates those who use this to build from those who use it to destroy: intention. You can use this knowledge to create genuine connections, understanding and meeting needs authentically, or you can use it to manipulate and exploit. The end justifies the means, but you need to be comfortable with the end you're pursuing. Because ultimately, whoever studies people as prey can be both the hunter and the protector of the forest. The tool is neutral. The ethics come from you. And as you absorb this, an inevitable question arises. If constant presence allows others to read all your patterns, could it be that here's a truth that goes against everything modern society preaches about always being available? Scarcity generates value, and constant availability generates indifference. You think about gold. Why is it worth so much? Because it's rare. Now think about beach sand. Why is it worthless? Because there's plenty of it. The same logic applies to your presence, your attention, your time. Machiavelli understood that being feared rather than loved had a deeper layer. When you are always available, always present, always responding immediately, you become predictable, common, disposable. It's like that restaurant you love but only go to occasionally. The experience remains special. Now imagine eating there every day, 3 times a day. In 2 weeks, you're tired of it and looking for another place. Politics guided by reality, not by ideals, shows us that people value what is difficult to obtain, not what is always there. And no, this isn't cheap tricks or toxic manipulation when done correctly. It's strategic protection of your value and your energy. Rare presence is more valued than constant presence because it creates anticipation, desire, and curiosity. It's the difference between the sun rising every day, you don't even stop to appreciate it, and a solar eclipse. Everyone leaves home to see it. The calculated use of force here is about strategically withdrawing your presence, not out of spite or for games, but because you genuinely have a rich enough life that demands your attention. But let's be practical, because theory without application is just bar talk. How do you transform absence into power without seeming like a cold or absent idiot? First, create a life worth being absent from. This is the part most people forget. It's no use disappearing to stay home watching TV and pretending to be busy. People sense the falseness. You need to genuinely be building something, a project, a business, a skill, multiple relationships, experiences. It's like when someone asks you out and you say, "I can't, I have jiu-jitsu training," versus "I can't, I'll stay home." The first has weight, the second is a lame excuse. Decisions based on real human nature show us that people want to be part of something interesting, not be someone's only interest. Nobody wants to date someone who has no friends, hobbies, or life of their own. It's a burden, not a partner. Second, when you are present, be truly present. The magic of absence only works if the presence is memorable. If your performances are lukewarm, generic, and scattered, your absence won't make any difference. It's like that artist who releases new music every 3 years. But when they do, it's a masterpiece, versus the one who releases every week but it's all mediocre. Guess which one has more loyal fans? And here's where a concept Machiavelli mastered comes in: constant adaptability. Strategic absence isn't a fixed formula, it's situational interpretation. With your boss, perhaps physical absence combined with impeccable deliverables creates an image of mysterious efficiency. With close friends, perhaps it's occasional absence that makes the encounters more special. In romantic relationships, it's that space that allows both to feel longing instead of suffocation. Virtue lies in knowing when to approach and when to retreat, like a dancer who knows the rhythm perfectly. And beware of extremes. Avoiding being hated is as important as being valued. If you disappear too often, you become absent and non-strategic. If you always disappear at important moments, you become unreliable. The balance lies in being scarce enough to be valued, but present enough not to be forgotten. Think of great leaders, artists, thinkers. They aren't available to everyone all the time, but when they appear, it's memorable. Steve Jobs didn't give interviews every day, but when he did, the world stopped to listen. Beyoncé doesn't post on Instagram 30 times a day, but when she does, she breaks the internet. You don't need to be famous to apply this. You just need to understand that your time and presence are the most valuable resources you have, and when you control their supply, you automatically increase demand. But physical absence is only half the equation. There's something even more powerful that most people completely ignore: controlling the narrative that exists even when you're not present. Because there's a silent battle happening right now, and most people don't even realize they're losing: the war for narrative. Machiavelli deeply understood that perception matters more than reality, because it's perception that moves masses, determines alliances, and defines who has power. You might be the most competent person in the room, but if the narrative about you is that you're lazy, guess which version people will operate with? The false one. It's like those justice cases where the defendant is innocent, but the media has already condemned them. Even if they're acquitted later, the stain remains. Politics, guided by reality, not ideals, teaches us that it's not enough to do the right thing. The right people need to know you did the right thing, and more importantly, they need to know it through the version you want them to know. Framing situations strategically isn't lying, it's being the first to tell the story before others tell it for you with their own distortions. Think of a relationship argument. Whoever tells their version first to their friends usually wins the group's sympathy, even if the other side is right. Unfair? Maybe. Real? Absolutely. Whoever controls history controls reality in people's minds, and that is power more valuable than money or brute force. Because you can have all the resources in the world, but if the narrative says you're the villain, you'll be fighting a losing battle in every interaction. Now, how do you apply this without becoming that fake person who only cares about appearances? The secret lies in the appearance of virtue combined with real substance. It's no use building a narrative of a hard-working person if you don't deliver results. People aren't stupid, they sense the incongruity. But here's the trick few understand. Decisions based on real human nature show that people judge more by what they see and hear than by what they investigate deeply. You can work 12 hours a day in absolute silence and your boss think you're doing nothing, or work 8 hours ensuring the right people see your deliverables. Which strategy is smarter? The second, obviously. It's not about deceiving, it's about communicating value in a way that it's perceived. It's like an excellent product with terrible packaging versus a mediocre product with brilliant marketing. Guess which one sells more? Practical examples. If you closed an important deal, don't wait for your boss to find out. Send an email summarizing the achievement, tagging the relevant people. If you helped a colleague, let that be mentioned in a meeting. If you're developing a new skill, share your progress on professional networks. You're not showing off. You're controlling the narrative of your competence before the default narrative, which is, I don't know what so-and-so does, takes hold. And there's an even deeper layer to all of this that separates amateurs from masters: the calculated use of preventative narrative force. Machiavelli knew that being feared rather than loved also meant that people needed to know the consequences before crossing certain lines. If you have a reputation for being weak, you'll be constantly tested. If you have a reputation for being firm but fair, they'll think twice before causing trouble. And how do you build that reputation? By controlling strategic narratives. Had to fire someone for incompetence? The way you frame that dismissal, it was a difficult but necessary decision to maintain the team standard versus, I had to fire that incompetent person, completely changes how you are perceived. The first shows tough but necessary leadership. The second shows someone vengeful. Virtù and fortuna meet when you are narratively prepared for when opportunity or crisis arises. Think of politicians. The good ones know that when a scandal breaks, the first 15 minutes define everything. Whoever controls the initial narrative usually controls the final outcome. You don't need to be a politician to apply this. In a discussion with a partner, whoever frames the problem first usually defines the terms of the debate. At work, whoever presents the solution along with the problem is seen as a problem solver, not a complainer. And here's the crucial point. Constant adaptability requires you to adjust your narrative according to the audience. With your boss, you're the reliable professional. With your team, the approachable leader. With clients, the problem-solving expert. Having different facets isn't being fake, it's social intelligence. But there's a detail that makes all this even more powerful. When you combine narrative control with the art of strategic reciprocity, because there's an invisible force that moves the world of human relationships, and those who learn to use it correctly gain a brutal advantage: reciprocity. But beware, because this is where most people make big mistakes. It's not about being nice and expecting the universe to reciprocate. It's about giving strategically, not gratuitously. Machiavelli understood that politics guided by reality, not by ideals, required calculated investments, not blind charity. It's the difference between planting seeds in fertile soil versus throwing seeds on the asphalt, hoping some will sprout. Both actions seem generous, but only one is intelligent. Human nature works like this. When someone does something for you, especially something unsolicited, your brain creates an automatic psychological debt. It's like when someone gives you an unexpected gift, you immediately think, I need to reciprocate this. This mechanism is so ingrained in us that it's practically impossible to ignore it. And here's the secret that separates those who build empires of influence from those who constantly complain that nobody helps anybody. Create obligations through calculated favors. It's not malice. It's a strategy based on decisions grounded in real human nature. You do something genuinely useful for someone, creating an emotional current account where you have credit. And when you need it, you withdraw from that credit without guilt or hesitation. But let's break this down with practical examples, because theory without application is just empty talk. Imagine you work at a company and want a promotion. Amateur strategy. Work hard and wait to be noticed. Master strategy. Identify a problem your boss has and solve it before he even asks, creating a debt of gratitude. For example, you notice that your boss is always stressed about monthly reports. You create an automated template that saves him 3 hours of work and present it as, I realized this could help. Boom, you've just created a psychological obligation. When the time comes for the promotion, your name will be on his mind for an emotional reason, not just a logical one. Another example, personal relationships. That friend who only shows up when they need something versus the one who only calls to see how you are. When you need help, which one do you help first? The second one, obviously, because there's a positive reciprocity account there. The calculated use of force in this context is about timing and selection. You strategically help people who, A, have the capacity to reciprocate and B, have a history of reciprocating. Does it seem cold? Maybe. But answer honestly. How many times have you exhausted yourself helping people who never helped you back? Virtue lies in recognizing this and adjusting your strategy. And here comes the part that many people confuse with selfishness, but is actually intelligent self-preservation. Invest only in those who reciprocate. Machiavelli would say it's better to be feared than loved. But I add, better to be respected for giving and receiving in balance than to be used for giving too much. It's like investing money. You don't put everything into a stock that only goes down. You diversify and invest where there's a return. It's the same with people. That colleague you always save but who never supports you back. Cut the investment. That friend who always asks for favors but disappears when you need them. Redefine the boundaries, not with drama, not with confrontation, just with constant adaptability in how much you invest there. And here's a powerful insight. When you stop investing in those who don't reciprocate, two things happen. First, you free up energy and resources to invest in true mutual relationships. Second, the people who used you suddenly realize your value when it's no longer freely available. Some will adjust their behavior. Great, the relationship balances out. Others will complain and call you selfish. Perfect, you just identified who only wanted to take advantage and had no genuine interest. It's like doing a spring cleaning in your relationships. Get rid of what's cluttering you, keep what adds value. And there's more. When you operate this way, you create a reputation as someone valuable but selective, which ironically makes more people want to be in your circle, because everyone wants to be part of the exclusive group, not the one that accepts just anyone. The appearance of virtue is also important here. You don't need to announce to the world that you now only help those who help you back. You simply act this way, and the right people notice and value it. But there's something even more refined that elevates all this to another level, and few master it. The art of being clear where it matters and vague where it's convenient, because here's a counterintuitive truth that will completely change how you navigate difficult conversations and negotiations. Clarity gives ammunition, ambiguity gives options. Most people grew up hearing that clear communication is everything. And look, that's not entirely wrong, but it's dangerously incomplete. Machiavelli mastered the art of being precise when necessary and vague when convenient, because he understood that politics guided by reality, not ideals, demands tactical flexibility. When you are crystal clear about everything, you become stuck in positions that can backfire later. It's like showing all your cards in a poker game before the last round. You may be being honest, but you're being strategically foolish. Be clear on values, ambiguous on tactics. This phrase should be tattooed on the mind of anyone who wants to navigate the world intelligently. Your fundamental values, integrity, loyalty, competence, these you communicate with absolute clarity. But how exactly will you achieve a goal? Which path will you take? When will you make each move? That's where you keep it nebulous until you're sure of the terrain. Decisions based on real human nature show that when people know all your plans, they can sabotage them consciously or unconsciously. It's like announcing in the family group chat that you're going on a diet. Suddenly, everyone becomes a nutrition expert, criticizing your every choice. Let's make this absolutely practical, because this skill can literally save your career and your relationships. Imagine a situation at work. Your boss asks, "Do you agree with this new policy?" Clear and dumb answer, "No, I think it's awful and it will fail." Strategically ambiguous answer, "I see the merits of the approach and I have some considerations about the implementation that could optimize the results." Do you see the difference? In the first, you created an enemy and positioned yourself against something that might work. In the second, you kept the door open to influence the outcome without burning bridges. The calculated use of force here is not physical, it's verbal and positional. Another more serious example, a romantic relationship. Your partner asks, "Do you love me?" Obviously you answer clearly, that's a fundamental value. But if you ask, "Where do you see this in 5 years?" Depending on the stage of the relationship, strategic ambiguity can be more honest than a false certainty. "I see us building something solid, and I'm committed to growing together," is better than, "I already know we're going to get married in 2027 and have 2 children," when you genuinely aren't sure yet. It's not deception. It's about not creating concrete expectations when you don't yet have enough data to deliver them. The virtue lies in knowing which situation calls for which approach. And here comes the revolutionary concept that Machiavelli preached. Flexibility is power. When you are strategically ambiguous, you keep multiple doors open simultaneously until you have enough information to choose the best one. It's like in a video game where you save your progress before an important decision. You can explore a path and go back if it doesn't work out. People who commit too early to rigid positions get stuck when reality changes. Think about 2020. How many businesses went bankrupt because the owner said, "We will never work online," and remained stuck in that position? While those who maintained strategic ambiguity adapted quickly and survived. Constant adaptability is only possible when you are not tied to absolute statements about tactics. And be warned, there is a fine line between strategic ambiguity and being seen as indecisive or unreliable. The trick is to avoid being hated while maintaining your options. How? By communicating certainty in values and honesty about tactical uncertainties. I'm not sure of the best path yet, but I'm committed to finding a solution that benefits everyone is far better than feigning certainty when you're not. People respect intellectual humility, but despise falsehood. Better to be feared than loved also means that people need to feel you are not manipulable, not that you are manipulative. And when you master this ambiguity, you achieve something magical. People project onto you what they want to see, and you become a strategic mirror where everyone sees the version that most benefits their position. Political, yes. Effective, absolutely. But even mastering all this, there's a fatal flaw that destroys even the most brilliant strategists, blindly trusting someone because... Now we come to the most brutal and liberating truth you'll ever hear. Loyalty is conditional, not absolute. This goes against everything Disney movies and self-help books have sold you. But Machiavelli knew, and anyone who has lived long enough confirms, that unconditional loyalty doesn't exist between functioning adults. There's alignment of interests, there's gratitude, there's genuine affection, but absolute loyalty, that's romantic fantasy that puts you in a dangerously vulnerable position. Politics guided by reality, not ideals, shows us that even the most loyal person has a breaking point, and pretending that this point doesn't exist is suicidal naivete. Think about it. That faithful partner who abandons you when the company starts to sink. That friend of decades who disappears when you go through a difficult time that demands real sacrifice from them. That partner who swore eternal love but traded you in when a better option appeared. It didn't happen because they are bad people. It happened because loyalty is conditional and the conditions changed. Decisions based on real human nature require you to operate with this truth, not against it. Build relationships based on mutual benefit, where both parties have clear and up-to-date reasons to stay together. It's like a well-crafted business contract. Everyone knows what they get, what they offer, and what happens if things change. Let's get down to the real world with practical examples, because this mindset can literally save you from devastating betrayals. At work, you have that colleague who's become a close friend, confidants of each other. Great, cultivate that. But never ever tell them all your professional secrets. Never reveal that idea that could get you promoted before you execute it. Never share harsh criticism of your boss, even if they agree. Why? Because if a promotion opens up tomorrow and you're both competing, their self-interest will prevail. And it should, after all, you would do the same. It's not betrayal, it's human nature. The calculated use of force here is informational. You share enough to build connection, but withhold enough to protect yourself. It's like playing poker with friends. You still want to win, you're just more polite about it. Another more personal example, romantic relationships. That idea of sharing everything and having no secrets sounds beautiful in theory. In practice, maintain your individuality, keep your friends separate, protect your finances minimally, at least initially, and keep your identity outside the relationship. Not because you don't trust them, but because virtue demands that you be prepared for fortune to change. How many people do you know who put everything, money, friends, identity, into a relationship and were left with nothing when it ended? Diversify your dependencies. Never putting everything into one person isn't distrust, it's wisdom. And here's the delicate balance that separates paranoia from intelligent strategy. You need to trust enough to build something real, but distrust enough not to be destroyed if things fall apart. Machiavelli said it's better to be feared than loved, but that doesn't mean being hated or living in isolation. It means that the people around you need to know that you have options, that you don't depend entirely on them, that you are valuable but not desperate. When you diversify your strategic alliances, something interesting happens. You become less manipulable because no single person has total power over you. It's like financial investments. You don't put all your money into a single stock because if it crashes, you go broke. You diversify. It's the same with people. Friends from different circles, multiple mentors, varied support networks. So, if a relationship cools or ends, you don't fall apart. And here's the counterintuitive part. When people realize you have this independence, they paradoxically value you more. Nobody wants the desperate friend who has no one left. Everyone wants to be around someone who has options, but chooses to be there. The appearance of virtue matters. You demonstrate loyalty, commitment, true partnership, but behind the scenes, you keep your safeguards active. It's not falsehood, it's emotional maturity. And there's more. Constant adaptability requires you to periodically reassess your alliances. Is that friendship that was reciprocal 2 years ago still so today? Does that partner who added value still add value? Does that relationship that helped you grow still do? If not, you have two options. Renegotiate the terms or reduce the investment. And when you operate this way, you create something powerful, a network of relationships where everyone is there by conscious choice and mutual benefit, not by toxic dependence or romantic illusion. The end justifies the means when the end is to build a life where you are surrounded by true alliances but remain sovereign over your own destiny. Because in the end, the only person you can fully trust, unconditionally, without exceptions, is yourself. And when you internalize this deeply, you stop being betrayed by unrealistic expectations and begin to build relationships on the solid foundation of human reality, as it is, not as we would like it to be. So after all this, where are you in this story? Because look, you just received a treasure map that most people will never have access to, not because it's secret information locked away in some mysterious society, but because most people prefer to live in the comfortable illusion that being nice is enough, and you and I know it isn't. Politics guided by reality, not by ideals, isn't about abandoning your kindness. It's about protecting it strategically. It's about being good to those who deserve it, firm with those who test you, and ruthless with those who try to destroy you. So I ask you, how many of these 7 secrets are you already applying? And more importantly, how many are you applying on the right side of the line between emotional intelligence and toxic manipulation? Because here's the stark truth. Knowledge without action is just entertainment. You can watch this video, agree with everything, feel that momentary boost of empowerment, and tomorrow be doing the exact same things that keep you stuck. Or you can make a decision right now. Decisions based on real human nature begin with you admitting where you're going wrong. So let's go, without judgment. Which of these mistakes do you make? Are you the kind of person who lets emotions dictate important decisions? The kind of person who studies people but only to complain about them, not to adapt strategically? Are you the kind of person who's available 24/7 and therefore has become an option, not a priority? Do you let others control the narrative about you while you stay quiet, waiting for the truth to come out? Do you give to those who never? Reciprocate and still feel guilty for stopping? Are you too transparent and therefore get stuck in positions that screw you over later? Or do you blindly trust people and therefore have been betrayed more times than you should have? Which one is it? Because everyone has at least 2 or 3 of these. I do. The difference is that now you know, and knowing without acting is worse than never having known. So here's what you're going to do. Choose one of these 7 secrets. Just one. The one that hurt the most when you heard it, because pain usually means, damn, that's exactly what I need to hear. And for the next 7 days, you're going to apply that secret with brutal awareness. If you chose to control emotions, every time you feel that wave of anger, fear, or anxiety wanting to make decisions for you, you stop, breathe, and ask yourself, what decision would the best strategist in my life make here? If you chose to study people, you're going to observe 3 people close to you and identify which of the 4 basic needs dominates each one. And you're going to test adjusting your communication based on that. If you chose to use strategic absence, you're going to create something genuine this week that makes it worthwhile to be absent. A project, a workout, a course, anything. And you're going to reduce your availability to those who treat you as an option. Do you understand the point? Specific action, not vague intention. Because virtue only manifests itself through action, and fortune only favors those who are prepared and in motion. And look, I want to know, which of these 7 secrets do you most need to master right now? Comment below. No shame, no pretending you're already a master of everything. I need to master emotional control. I need to learn to use strategic absence. I need to stop trusting blindly. Which one is yours? Because when you put it into words, you take responsibility. And when you see that there are 100 other people in the comments with the same problem, you realize you're not alone on this journey. Constant adaptability begins with you admitting where you need to adapt. And another thing, do you think there's a real difference between emotional intelligence and manipulation? Or is it all the same thing with different clothes? This question will generate controversy in the comments, I know, but it's exactly the kind of debate that separates those who think from those who just repeat motivational cliches. Tell me what you think, seriously. Because Machiavelli didn't write about politics for rulers. He wrote for anyone who wants to understand how power really works. And you just received a lesson on exactly that applied to your life. Now, if you've made it this far and felt that, wow, there's so much more for me to learn about this, do the following. Subscribe to the channel and activate the bell. No, seriously, it's not just YouTuber talk. It's because this channel is basically an underground university about human nature, life strategy, and truths that nobody else dares to talk about. Every week, there's new content dissecting these things that separate those who live on autopilot from those who truly command their own existence. And if you want to be in the second group, you need to be here. Because being feared rather than loved also means being respected for what you know and what you do with that knowledge, not just being liked for posting pretty phrases. So hit that red button, activate notifications, and keep learning. Because the game doesn't stop. People don't stop using these techniques, and you need to be sharper and sharper. Life is too short to be played on easy mode when you can play on strategist mode. See you in the next video. Until then, apply at least one of these secrets, just one, and then tell me the result. Thanks.